Hello and welcome back to another episode of Media Munchers. I'm Mathan,
And I'm Adrian.
and welcome to the new year, everybody. It's been a good one. Fireworks were fun. You had some great ones at your house, Big A.
Yeah,
Thank you
big
for
ones.
that. Huge ones. We have videos. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But with New Year, with the start of a new year, I wanted to wrap up last year with like a little favorites list. Top favorites, top disappointments, if you would, and other honorable mentions. So I think we should get it right into it. Do you want to start with the positive or the negative? What you think?
Let's go positive.
Let's go positive. All
Yeah.
right. I think it's no surprise to anyone when we say No Way Home is on our top three.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already talked extensively about the film, so I'll keep
Yeah,
it brief.
a lot.
But long story short, I just think it was a really great recontextualization of everything that's come before. It really ties together a larger multiverse, and it's still a great, even when you take all that fluff away, if you want to call it that, and that fan service, it's still a really solid Peter Parker film. And we talked about how it's his origin story in the context of the MCU.
Yeah.
Basically, it was just a really, really great time. There was, of course, a little small things here and there that people had gripes with, but I think all that was for the sake of getting the larger engine moving, if you would. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There might have been some plot holes, but overall, I think it was
But
a
the
solid
enjoyment,
film.
yeah, exactly. The enjoyment far outweighed the small little sacrifices they made to get us there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was a real maturing of the character.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be in his college years, mentally as well as physically coming up. So we'll see.
That'd be cool.
Moving on, I have a little bit of a diversion. So I thought Free Guy, as long as it took to come out, I thought it was a really, really nice surprise. You haven't seen it yet, so I'll keep it mostly spoiler free. But the entire premise is basically Ryan Reynolds is a video game player. He's a character, actually. He's an NPC in a world that's much like Grand Theft Auto Online. And the whole premise is that he eventually gains consciousness. He's like an AI program. And then the movie also follows the developers who created him. And there's a whole other love triangle, if you would, at it. But it's just oddly good. Like the concepts are vague enough that they apply to most games. And they try and comment on game culture here and there. And some of it's hit or miss. But it's just largely fun. Like it's just a fun ride. And it oddly has some heart. And it's nothing feels too contrived or forced. And it's just a really great film. It surprised me because I had zero expectations for it. Like zero. So I was like, if you can go, grab a little watch when it's on streaming in a month or two, definitely check it out. I think it'll be on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was checking it out. So that's definitely top three. It was a big surprise. What's your outlier?
My outlier. I don't know.
I know we had No Way
did you have
Home
again?
and Dune in common for top three. So we'll get to Dune in a second.
So we did have Dune.
So
in
what's
common.
your
So then
outlier?
my outlier would be the Suicide Squad.
Okay,
so,
tell me about that because I wouldn't have initially thought.
Yeah. So this one was kind of like I think my kind of film.
Okay.
It was fun. It was chaotic and quirky.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a great balance between the wackiness of the characters, but also taking them seriously.
Right.
And showing a lot of the brutality that they endure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of my favorite, if not the my favorite DC film
So far?
Yeah.
Really? That's pretty high praise, man. You really enjoyed that film.
Yeah. I really liked it. It was nuanced and it was very unique in its own way. Like,
you know what I think it is? It reminds me of a situation where do you remember the film Keanu with the Key and Peele?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The first time I saw that movie, I really did not like it. I was a lot younger, and I didn't get it. It didn't sit well for me. Maybe, and that goes back to these preconceived notions and these expectations I had for it, and it didn't match what I thought it should be. I thought it should be just a one long sketch movie or just a bunch of different sketches because that's all I knew them from. And I think I had a similar situation with The Suicide Squad in that I had a really bad taste in my mouth from the first Suicide Squad in 2016, wherever it was.
Yeah.
And so I had certain expectations of what I thought it could or should have been, especially since James Gunn directed it. And it kind of was that, but at the same time it wasn't. And I didn't know what I was supposed to get out of it. So I think giving it some time and maybe revisiting it later, I might enjoy it not as much, but more, like you did.
Right.
So I just thought that was an interesting thing to note. But it is what it is. Cool. And then finally, Dune.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we also said a pretty good amount of this back in Denver and also back home. But I mean, Denis Villeneuve, man, he's just a visual god, man. It's just the visuals are crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
insanely epic.
And it was really worth seeing it on the big screen. I feel like it was long, but at the same time, it just felt like it wasn't enough. Like I know we've joked about it, but it's really a third or half of what the first book is because it's like part one, right?
I think so. Yeah, part one. I think they already planned the part two.
Right.
But yeah, it kind of left on somewhat of a maybe not a cliffhanger,
but like a to be continued esque kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
Here, something's coming next. You know it is, and it was really good. I just wish we got more. I enjoyed taking the time to learn the lore and like the world building of it all. Like it's really like a big intro to the entire franchise. So hopefully, I think it did well enough that it merits another one. Certainly. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. And it's the best Dune we've seen so far. I've heard you said we should take a look at that series sometime. You said the series was good, or someone was telling me
series.
There was a TV series of Dune.
Oh, okay,
in the early
right,
2000s, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they said it wasn't that bad, so maybe it's worth a look. Sees, but I don't know. As far as the movie's concerned, I remember walking out and I was like, "Wow, this is cinema. This is crazy."
Yeah.
The scope and the scale, it was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
I'm a sucker for those those sci-fi epics that really think like they're thinking man's type of sci-fi.
Yeah.
And they delve into like a philosophical things like that. Yeah.
I hope they touch more on that in the next one, because there was some things being hinted at with like the class and all that kind of stuff, like all those good themes that we get into. But hopefully they get into it some more. But now we got to take a turn to the top worst of 2021, top 3. I think we have a couple of these in common. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see, what do you have? I know we for sure have. Hey, am I missing any? Oh no, I'm not missing any. I was gonna say we for sure have Space Jam 2 in common, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so
it was atrocious.
It was really bad. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It was god awful.
It was like a celebration of Warner Brothers IP.
It really was.
And that's pretty much all it was. Just a large advertisement.
Huge ad. Just ridiculous. I mean, LeBron falling into a Looney Tunes world and creating the shape of Nike's logo. I was like, what is this? Yeah. Like, what am I doing here? It was cringy. I watched it with my my younger brother and then my younger god brothers, and even they thought, they're like, what is this? Like, even the kids were like, what are we watching? Like, what's going on here? So I was like, ooh. I mean, LeBron, I know he's a basketball star, but acting was bad. At least MJ kind of held his own in Space Jam 1.
I vaguely remember, so.
I remember it. I listened. Maybe it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
But I was still more fond of his performance there. Like, at least it worked. I don't know. I saw it as a kid now. But anyway, I don't know. I just remember Space Jam 1 being way better. But I guess they had to do something new here. And it was bad. So that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah.
Moving on. I know you didn't have this on your list, but I had Coming to America 2. Now, the first one held a special place in my heart because I was on like an Eddie Murphy spree couple years back and just like catching up on everything he did in the 80s. Not everything, but like a lot of his films. And a lot of them are really solid. And I really enjoyed Coming to America. It was fresh. It felt good for the time. And I just look back on it with fond eyes. All the comedy worked. I mean, everything was cool. It was a product of its time for sure. I was like, okay, Coming to America 2, there's a lot they could do with this. And then there's like have you seen it? You haven't, right?
No, I haven't. I haven't even seen the first one.
The first one is worth checking out. It is.
Yeah, I've heard it was good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The second one, not so much. The plot is weird. He has a son, Eddie Murphy's character. He's like the king of this Wakanda-esque kind of nation. Okay. And they even joke about it in the movie. They even make a Wakanda reference, and he's like, Wakanda is not real. My country is, or something like that. It was funny. And anyway, it's just like that's about the only good joke in that movie. Like the second one is bad. Like he has a son in New York, so he's got to go back. And then that son falls in love with a chick from his country or something like that. And it's a whole thing, and it's not good. And most of the comedy doesn't land. And it feels like a waste of time. And like they kind of try and revisit some of the old stuff they did from the first movie, but it just didn't have that same magic. It felt like a few people might have been phoning it in. I was like, what was the point of this? Like, I don't understand. So it was just really bad. Not worth seeing. But what do you got on your list?
Did we have Fast and Furious 9 in common?
I didn't see it.
Oh, that's right. You didn't see it.
That says volumes about it. You did. You did.
Yeah, I reluctantly saw it.
Well, tell me more.
It did what all bad movies or bad movie sequels end up doing.
And what's that?
Going to space.
Oh, did they really?
They went to space and they did it in this very convoluted way, and it was just not good. Now that was a minor like detail in the movie, but at least what I remember. But
it jumped the planetary shark, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Wait,
just overall,
hold on. I have to ask you, how was John Cena being Vin Diesel's brother? Like, did that work at all or not at all? Like, was it really convoluted?
I think it was okay from what I remember. That wasn't the worst part.
What was the worst part besides space?
Well, just how flamboyant they get with their action.
Oh, okay.
Like they really go into like like they make it unreal.
Okay.
The kind of action that they can.
It's basically just like a cartoon come to life. Is that what it is? That's awesome. Wow, that feels like a guilty pleasure
like,
movie.
Yeah, it could probably be a guilty pleasure, but it's certainly not mine.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know if you had this on your list, but I had Red Notice on it.
And no, I completely forgot about it.
Exactly. Maybe that speaks more to your list than it does mine.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's on here is because I took it easy on it during the review because I really wanted to like the movie. It has 3 people that I overall like, and a premise that seems kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like spies basically turning on spies, spy v spy, and it just did not live up to the hype. I think that Netflix was bragging about how it broke all these records, and probably did because Netflix has that reach. They can put it in front of a bunch of eyes, right?
Yeah.
And people see these 3 people and they're like, this looks good. I want to see it. It could be funny.
Right.
And even Ryan Reynolds, like he said it himself. He didn't have a huge hand on writing it, so they just let him come in and play himself. And he literally did a lot of the Ryan Reynolds tropes, and some of it worked, some of it really didn't. And in hindsight, this movie was just meh. It was just kind of average with a lot of like budget thrown behind it. And I was just really disappointed because I feel like they could have done more. They could have explored more. But then at the end of the movie, you get to why they made it in the first place. Oh, it's potentially a new franchise. There's a sequel possibly. And then, okay. So it's the whole reason for this movie to exist is so they could greenlight the second one, whatever that's going to be. Yeah. I'm just like, it kind of made me feel like, I don't know, man. I felt like I was turned on or something. It didn't feel good. It left a weird feeling in my stomach. So some of it worked, but a lot of it was just kind of like, what are we doing here? So, yeah, I don't know. And I watched it a second time, and I was still kind of like, why did I give this second viewing? I don't know. I really wanted to like it. That's why it's on my list. Because I'm upset that I didn't like it more. And that it made me like it less. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, for me, the Red Notice was like one of those films, like, I saw the trailer, and like, I was mildly interested.
Sure.
So I took a look at it, and I just kind of forgot about it.
Same. That's awesome. I think I was emotionally abused by this movie. I think that's what it was. I think that's what happened, and I think that's why I'm so hurt. What's on your list?
So then, was this one the Matrix Resurrections? Did we have that in common?
I didn't write it, but it definitely, if we had honorable mentions for things we didn't like, it would definitely be on there. I agree with you is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I just, watching this whole film felt like watching the frustration of the directors toward Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And they had like all these like somewhat decent concepts, but they just ultimately didn't execute them well. And I think it was due to their overall not wanting to make the film in the first place.
Weird. So it's like when you're forced to do your homework, but you only give like half effort. Yeah. Is that what it felt like to you?
I think so.
Because it kind of felt like that to me. Because there was some interesting, like you said, there were some interesting concepts brought up or like maybe risen. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, what could that be? What could that be? And then like it just ultimately didn't follow through the way it should have. I mean, I think someone commented, and I think it's true. Keanu didn't pick up a gun the whole movie.
No, he didn't.
I think.
And the action was just lackluster.
Yeah,
like it was just
meh.
Basic.
Yeah, he was just getting lit up.
Yeah.
Like
and comparing it to the first film, which was like groundbreaking in every way. This one was just kind of dull.
Yeah. It's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
You want to get to the honorable mentions?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I don't know if we have this in common. But I put A Quiet Place 2. We did. I think we did have that in common, right?
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, basically it's the continuation of A Quiet Place 1. And they both really had that indie / low budget feel to it, except it was done, it was made by stars, Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
And they're, struggling to survive in this world or whatever with basically like really sound sensitive aliens, right? And that's the whole premise. It's like a horror thriller. I'm not one for those kind of movies, but this one I felt really did it well. It wasn't like all predicated on jump scares and just like cheap tactics. Like it told a story and it told it well.
Yeah.
And I really thought, in a world where sequels really don't do that nicely, Quiet Place 2 really builds on the lore of the first one really well. And it shows us new things, like especially like the dock scene. I really enjoyed that. And everyone trying to like just navigate their way through it, and like the struggles of that girl who also needed the hearing implant. She's mostly deaf, right? Like 99 or
I think so.
Basically, she needs the implant to hear. And all that, and then using that as a weapon at the very end was really tight. Spoilers. So, so I don't know. The movie did everything right for me. The emotion was there, the acting was there, and it was great. They even brought Krasinski back in a flashback, and I was like, cool.
Yeah, that was nice.
I just really enjoyed it. I mean, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I think you pretty much said it all. I mean,
sir.
So like the opening scene was like the best moment, I think. it kept the same feeling of the first one, and it continued it in a satisfying way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would. So then I'll get into Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
I'm also salty and emotionally hurt that the studio didn't greenlight this. I understand why, because like 4 hours in a theater is ridiculous. I get it, and now we're in the era of streaming.
Right.
But in a world where if you just let this man like take care of his direction, like, and this is something you can get, and maybe even more. But I think they had to nix the Green Lantern stuff, or no, they actually added it in this one, right?
The Green Lantern.
Yeah. They did.
Yeah. There was a hint of it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so in a world where like all of that could have been, and everything made a lot more sense and was just way more, I don't know, streamlined in terms of, not in terms of runtime, but in terms of like plot clarity. You know what I mean? Like he told this long story, this epic, if you would, for a reason, and it was just way more pleasant. And it didn't really feel like 4 hours. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, I was ready for the next thing. You know, it felt like just binging an entire show like in one sitting. That's really what it felt like, but with no breaks. You know, just kind of like different lulls and chapters of the story, if you would. Yeah. So it really did it for me. It felt like sweet poetic justice, even though it feels like too little too late. And I'm just glad that his vision finally got out there with this. And I was just really pleasantly surprised that there was a better movie in there. We just didn't see it all those years ago. Yeah. That's why I felt like it's an honorable mention. What about you?
So for me, I had Eternals.
Oh, yeah.
So I really enjoyed it because I felt like, well, first of all, the visuals were stunning, especially seeing the Celestials brought to life.
Did love that.
I also thought the philosophical themes in the movie weren't necessarily expanded upon greatly. I thought, or I at least could appreciate it for introducing that sort of thing into the MCU.
That's fair.
And I also really liked, I found Icarus's storyline most compelling.
Yeah. It felt like the most complete in a movie with like 13 storylines going on that you can only show so much love to certain people. I get it. It was compelling to a certain extent for me. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. That's another thing about the expectations. I just need to start going into these things with zero expectations, and then maybe I'll enjoy it a little more.
Yeah.
At times, I didn't think of it as highly because I was like, man, this is really just a lot. Like, please just give me a show. But like, no, they didn't want to do that. So it is what it is. But I'm glad you enjoyed it and got more out of it than I did. So that's nice. For me, something that is a little more quote unquote safer and follows the Marvel formula a little more is Shang-Chi. But it does and it doesn't. To his detriment. Like at the end, he didn't necessarily need to fight a dragon. It was cool, like visually, but he didn't need to do that. I think the family drama was great and it worked really well with that he's not the Mandarin anymore, but but his father, you know, the leader of the 10 Rings. But I really enjoyed that drama and how he wasn't necessarily mustache twirling at all. Like he was just a man who lost the woman he loved, and it was compelling to me. I thought it was good stuff. And I see why he ran away, and then you know, Shang-Chi struggles with like having to be a murderer at 14 or whatever, you know, like for his dad, and like he just didn't want to be a part of all that. Like it was all good stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fresh new take. I thought Ben Kingsley's role was hilarious, and it was an honorable mention. I really enjoyed the film. It's not something I would have gone back and binged like 14 times, but when I saw it, I just was satisfied. I was like, cool, I'm ready for more.
Yeah. I remember watching it the second time when it landed on Disney Plus, and I remembered how fun it was.
It was just a good time.
Just watching the whole thing, like especially that the bus scene.
That was really good fight choreo, dude. That was so good. That was fresh. Like I liked that a lot. That was cool. I wish we had something like that in every movie, but I understand there's a time and place for it. So
yeah,
I get it. There's another one on your list. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom. I don't know if you've heard about it.
I haven't seen it yet. I've definitely heard about it.
Yeah.
Back in college, they were doing like rehearsals for it. You know, getting it on. They're trying to get it on Broadway and stuff. So it was cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So it's a movie about Jonathan Larson.
Larson. Yeah. He wrote Rent, I believe.
Yeah. He wrote Rent. I didn't know too much about him going into the movie, but I saw the trailer, and I was interested because of Andrew Garfield. And I don't know if you knew this, but he sang all the musical numbers he did.
Yeah, I heard he had to get training. He could sort of hold a tune before, but he had never had proper
Yeah.
like singing.
Yeah, and he sung well.
Did
I
haven't heard it.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I don't know. I'm not a big fan of musicals.
Sure.
This is probably one of the few musicals I was able to easily get into.
Sure.
But so I can attest to the musical numbers themselves and how good those were.
Sure.
But I thought overall the story was well told, and I liked the catharsis it gave for up and coming artists, and how it basically tells you because so it's about him trying to write a masterpiece of a play, but it turns out that fails, and so he kind of has to reorganize himself, realize that failure is only part of the process.
Right. And it's not the end. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's more past it. That's good.
Yeah. So I really liked it.
Damn. Sounds like a solid film. I'm going to have to check that out on Netflix, right?
Yeah. It's on Netflix.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, good, man. I mean, listen, if you like a musical, then I'm probably going to love it. So, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I think you'll like this one.
Well, good. Man, if there's not anything else.
What movies did you want to see but haven't?
Oh, that's a good point. I definitely know that nobody's on that list with he's from Better Call Saul. I'm blanking on his name right now. That's so bad.
Bob Odenkirk.
That's right. Some of the same people who worked on John Wick and stuff.
Right.
That joint, and apparently it's pretty good. So, I don't know. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't. So, but I was definitely
wishing I saw that. Yeah, that's for sure. What about you?
So I wanted to see The Green Knight.
I heard that was good.
I don't know. So my list, I can't really explain what these movies are about. A lot of the movies that I go into, I don't like watching. The trailers.
You want to go in blind?
Yeah, I want to go in blind.
I don't know what it's about either.
Yeah. The Green Knight was one. Titan, I heard was also good. I think it might be in Oscar contention.
Oh, really?
I think. Wow. And Last Night in Soho, that's with
is it Edgar Wright?
Anya Taylor-Joy. And yeah, it's his latest film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was good if you like murder mysteries and stuff like that. And that's not all that it is, I heard, but that's definitely a facet of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, that could be good. Might have to get into that. Is there anything else you wish you saw about it?
From what I can remember.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wish I saw. No, nothing else really. We'll take a quick break, and when we're back, we'll get into Book of Boba Fett, episode 1.
Yep.
All right, cool. Okay, and we're back from break. We're going to get into Book of Boba Fett, episode 1. You want to take it away, Big Apple?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of felt like this was a Much Ado About Nothing sort of story.
Sure.
It kind of told us pretty much what the hardcore fans already knew.
Sure, yeah.
And didn't really expand much
past
on that.
Yeah.
I thought overall it was a nice nice beginning, but the action was kind of slow, and while it sets up the rest of the series really well, or strongly, I should say, I don't know, there was a lot missing.
I agree.
That could have been better executed.
To me, it felt like a lukewarm reintroduction to Boba Fett. Like we got the long and short of it, right? We got what happened, after episode 6. His PTSD, his struggles with that little healing chamber he needs because apparently he can't be away from it for too long or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I think that's supposed to be a result of him coming out of the pit, the
Rangor pit. Is that what it's called?
No, I don't think so.
Are you talking about like
at the beginning when he's crawling out of the monster?
Yeah.
Can't remember what that's called.
I thought it was the Rangor pit, but I could be entirely mistaken.
I'm pretty sure it's something different.
Probably.
But
I'm probably wrong. I'm really not fresh on Star Wars like that. But
yeah, I liked seeing that, but it was kind of not needed.
Do you think that's what the burns are from, or is it from being a slave out in the sun? You think it's that stomach acid that burned him up, or whatever?
I think it might be both.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Maybe.
Yeah. It was just. I guess they just wanted to show you how he got out of it. I guess was the point of that scene.
Yeah, I think it feeds into the story well. Like,
you think it sets up his present being or no?
Yeah, like it makes sense to have that to set up the series.
Sure.
But in terms of like what the fans already know about the character, it wasn't
necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
I think it helped casuals like me get back into it a little bit.
Right, yeah. And I think that's why they have it in there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think getting out of the monster was necessary, and maybe the enslavement and like the respect he got from saving that little boy was, I guess, necessary. Mm-hmm. It just felt a little long-winded. Like it didn't need to be as much runtime to get that point across.
Yeah.
But I think so. It felt filler in that way. But I liked them catching us up. I thought it was cool that he wanted to rule with respect and not fear. That's a cool character touch. I like.
Yeah,
he was
walking
around town like that. He didn't want to be paraded. That was cool. The modern touch of CGI is always welcome in these properties. I really enjoyed seeing there was only one instance where it looked kind of weird and campy, and that was when I forget the name of the beast, but that little
it comes out of the sand.
Not that one.
Oh, not that.
The little one that's keeping him in check. The little lizard that runs around. It's like a lizard rhino thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, it does look a little.
It looks weird.
I thought of it more as like a dog, but yeah.
Yeah, closer to a dog. Whatever it is, man. It's just weird. But I thought that looked a little weird during the nighttime. But it looks pretty good other than that. I thought it was weird. I keep saying it. But he's just a tired, damaged old crime lord. And I was like, what kind of shenanigans can he really get into at this age? Especially if he needs to be healed every certain hours or after a big fight or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just a senior citizen at this point.
And the action that he was a part of in The Mandalorian.
Sure.
That was really well done.
Sure.
So,
but
I don't know.
Are we missing something between then and now? Because I don't know. He just seems like an old man. He seems like he's ready for retirement. And I get it, but at the same time, even my brother was like, "Wow, his suit got smaller." I'm like, "Nah, dude, he got bigger. He's an old man." But I thought the beef with the mayor is the closest thing to a season 1 antagonist I can think of. How strong of one remains to be seen. Because you said you thought it set up the rest of the show strongly. To me, it felt like it set up some things here and there, but none of it was really compelling. I was like, okay, he's gonna have some beef. That's it. What's the point of it? Why are we seeing this? What's going on? How's this gonna further the larger universe? You know what I mean? Or that's not the point? Is it just kind of we gave him a show for a season and have fun with that? So we'll find out more in episode 2 when we watch it.
Yeah.
But
sure.
To me, it was a lukewarm, just recontextualization and reintroduction to the character. And I was like, well, cool. There's some stuff here, but it didn't feel like much to me yet. So that remains to be seen how far it goes.
Well, I do think it did kind of add to the personality of Boba Fett.
It did that well.
Like you said,
the respect thing.
Yeah, the respect thing.
That was nice.
So I think in that way it was strong.
Yeah, that way it was.
Yeah.
And and then hold on. Do you even remember why those was it just rebellion? Why did those people attack him and his little squad on the street? Those little assassins or whatever they were? Because I just felt like we need some action. Let's get some fights going.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. So I was like, what was the point of that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I should have to have a second watch to understand why that was there. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but it is what it is. But either way, we're gonna see what's in store, man. We got to see what's up.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get better.
I hope so. We'll find out real quick. That's about it for Book of Boba Fett episode 1. Shall we get into Don't Look Up?
Yeah,
let's get right into it, man. I'll start off with a quick synopsis. So, according to IMDb, Kate, last name, I'm not going to even pronounce that, Jennifer Lawrence's character. She's a grad student, an astronomy grad student, and a professor, Dr. Randall Mindy, by Leo DiCaprio, make an astounding discovery of a comet orbiting within the solar system. The problem? It's on a direct collision course with Earth. The other problem? No one really seems to care. It turns out warning mankind about a planet killer the size of Mount Everest is an inconvenient fact to navigate. With the help of Dr. Oglethorpe, Rob Morgan, Kate and Randall embark on a media tour that takes them to the office of an indifferent president, Orlean, Meryl Streep, and her sycophantic son and chief of staff, Jason, played by Jonah Hill, to the airwaves of The Daily Rip, an upbeat morning show hosted by Brie, a.k.a. Kate Blanchett, and Jack, Tyler Perry. With now only 6 months until the comet makes impact, managing the 24-hour news cycle and gaining the attention of social media-obsessed public before it's too late proves shockingly comical. What will it take to get the world to just look up? That's basically the entire movie in a nutshell.
Yeah.
What I didn't expect from this film was so much comedy, and it really works to its benefit because I feel like a lot of times we don't take a lot of things seriously. People joke online that the computers run so hot during the winter that they use it as a heater, and they're like, yeah, I'm probably contributing to global warming. Like, it's just the joke said in passing, because that's really what this whole movie is. I mean, yes, this is technically possible, but we don't have the means to calculate every comet coming from outer space, you know what I mean, to hit us. Like we can only detect it 6 months out. That's pretty accurate according to what I read.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have the means to just calculate every body in space and like predict when the next thing's gonna come. Like, it'll probably be about this far out. We'll find something. So it's a larger allegory about climate change and like how it's kind of coming for us, and no one really seems to be doing anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This movie did a really good job of showing how everything is kind of a joke, and we like to keep things light, because it's really hard dancing around your own mortality, especially if like you were to put a due date on your own life, and like for a fact it's gonna end unless you make some crazy intervention, but no one's taking you seriously.
Yeah.
So I mean, man, there's just so much to like here. First and foremost, I really love the editing. I love how like there's so many run-on conversations and they just get cut. Doesn't matter. Keep it moving. And it's a long movie, dude. It's like 2 hours 20. It's a long film.
Yeah, it is.
And it kind of doesn't feel that long, and sometimes it kind of does, but it really works. The pacing is great. I mean, what did you like about it? What stood out to you?
I like the small character moments.
Yeah.
That it had like laid out throughout the film.
It's chock full of them, dude.
Yeah, I particularly liked Leonardo DiCaprio's performance. I felt like he was like a perfect version of a scientist that is very out of touch.
Yeah.
And doesn't know how to handle the situation.
Mm-hmm.
When he's on the news broadcast,
he needs some media training.
Yeah, like he's just like stumbling throughout the whole movie, and
just trying to like stumble his way to try and save everyone who just can't. I thought it was a really nice juxtaposition having that off-color grad student, Kate. Like, she's just not about anyone's bullshit. And I really love the interplay between her and Jonah Hill as Secretary of State. Dude, that shit was the funniest part of the movie. He's like, who are you, boy with the dragon tattoo? And like, they're just just at each other's throat. Yeah. And I love that. Like, all that interplay is happening while we're trying to deal with like grand, like, world-ending events. And everyone still has time to just like bullshit each other. I think Meryl Streep as President Orlean, like basically a shoe-in for like a female Trump, basically, was hilarious. Like, like politics over everything, is dealing with this comment, will sit tight and assess, like just no one taking anything seriously, was hilarious. I think the Bash thing, there's so many bad guys in this film, but then it's like there's not really one particular one. It's just kind of like the inadequacies of modern society and like the political system and like the larger economics at play, you know what I mean? Like big business and all that, all these interests. I like how they totally abort the mission. Ron Perlman was hilarious. Like, every little small character was hilarious.
Yeah, they
abort the mission because like, oh no, we could make money off this comment. I'm like, and Leo's like, what good is any money if we're all dead? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a huge plot hole, but not really, because I could see something like that happening. Like, just a big like a lobbying interest, get involved and forget about it. We're just gonna put it off, do it our way.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the most visceral moments at the end, where like when they're all holding hands at the table and like it's coming and like there's nothing they can do about it. They have to just kind of like keep talking as if nothing's happening. Like, that was real. Like, I felt like I was in their shoes. That was good stuff, man. There's so much to like here. The bag over the head, that running joke. Dude, come on, man.
Yeah, they had so many running jokes.
There was so many. It was good.
The officer, whoever he was,
the general,
sold the bag of chips in the water.
Like $5 each.
Yeah. And no, I think it was like 10 each.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was way overpriced. They didn't even know it was free. And like Jennifer Lawrence, Kate did not get it. Like, on 3 separate occasions, she was like, "I just don't understand what he had to gain. Power? Was it like, what does he have to gain from that? He has money. He's well paid." Like, I love how that messed with her so much. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't have too many dislikes. Initially, the runtime scared me, but the editing really helped it along. Like I said, some thought it was too one-sided, and I don't entirely agree with that, because like we lived in a polarized, politically motivated society, or at least like that's what's getting yelled at you at social media and like on the news and stuff.
Yeah.
And the two extreme parties will have their thoughts. It did kind of show both sides, if you would, and even at like on the other side, or like the people who lead more right wing, even they're like they looked up at the end, they're like, oh shit, they lied to us. You know what I mean? Because it feels like at the end of the day, you're going to believe what you believe, and you're going to listen to your media people and how they spin things. And I thought that was just really interesting, how even Leo and Kate were like, we've been trying to tell you this whole time and no one listens. Like, even if something is a fact, people will be like, no, it's fake, or no, it's not a big deal. And they're like, oh, it's not 100%? Then it's 70%. Like, I was just like, that's crazy. It's like that people will sit on their hands at any given opportunity. It's bizarre. But I just thought that like the movie was trying to show science first, and the people who are more inclined to believe it just happen to be like left leaning, and they even show the whole jobs thing, like the whole like the meteor, the asteroid's gonna create jobs, right?
Right,
and
right.
Like, you know, that's gonna be good. And like, oh, there's a hotline if you're nervous, you can call. I'm like, wow, like it was just a mirror, right? The movie was a huge mirror to society.
Yeah.
And some people didn't like what they saw, and I thought that was really bizarre. But I mean, some people could call it preachy. I didn't think it was too bad, but I don't know. What do you think, Big Apple? Like, did it do it for you? Or are you not too concerned with all that, and you just thought it was good for what it was?
No. I thought it was fantastic. It was a good, like, poignant and uncanny look at how we are in society today.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You pretty much kind of said most of what I was thinking.
Sorry. Yeah. No. It's just I had to get it out. I mean.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it is a mirror, and a lot of people don't like what they see in it. You know what I mean? They don't like where they lie.
And I kind of feel like that's why it's at, I think, around 50% right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
You think so? Because people are like, it's too one-sided, it's too preachy. And
well, no, I don't think it's one-sided.
I don't think it's that way either. But
I don't even think it's necessarily picking a side in terms of politics.
I don't think it is either. But
yeah, I think it's more just like, hey, we gotta like look at reality and actually try to address it in a intelligent way.
But people don't. That's the thing. There's no like. It's really hard to call anything objective reality because people, what you say you think is right, other people will be like it's wrong, and they'll just believe it.
Yeah.
Or whether they don't believe it, they'll just act as if you know what I mean. So it's really hard to do that. You know, it's like we see it's fine, but others might be like, this is awful, this is a god awful film, stupid, never happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really weird. I remember I was on Reddit and a European said it hit home from them, because there was a quick scene in there where they said the UN was going to try and do something, or like one of the European agencies was going to try and do their own thing, and then it never got off the ground because like they just, I don't know, whatever it was, they just couldn't do it. And they said that hit home for them, and I was like, that's interesting. And then I don't know how likely it is if Russia and China stuff would blow up, but I could see it happening. So I don't know. It was just really, I know it was an America-centric film, but at the same time, it tried to capture the worldview. I think the most unlikely thing was a president saying something in kilometers. I think she would have converted it to miles.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, that's a small little gripe. But I thought it was really solid, man. I mean, it was a stacked cast. It was hilarious. And I think it was a really good film. It's like what we needed right now. It's too bad not everyone's going to see it, or if they do see it, they probably would just like throw it out of their minds. Some people, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, but I see why Leo took the role for sure. It's right up his alley in terms of like helping with climate change and all that. So. That was a solid film. I liked it. Did you see the mid and post credit scene?
Were there two?
There's two.
Oh, I've only seen the one.
Yeah.
Right, because it was
them getting off like 22,000 years later.
Yeah. That's the one I saw.
Well, look, we gotta wrap this up. I gotta take this call. Any other thoughts?
No, I think it was it.
We're good. All right, for Media Munchers, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Adrian.
And we'll catch you next time.